Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Infinite Crypto Cruisers. Hey there, folks. This is Brad Varnell, and this is the Infinite Crypto YouTube channel. Excited to be here with you tonight. Looking forward to sharing some strategies with you. Hopefully, you guys are excited about learning how to 100x your crypto portfolio. And, folks, there's a lot of people that are going to 100x their crypto portfolio during the next bull run. I actually want to give you guys some tips and some things that I'm doing to hopefully 100x your portfolio even before the next bull market starts. And the reason I'm excited about that is just imagine, folks, if you were to start your crypto journey, say in April or May of next year with zero crypto, I believe there's a very high likelihood if you do the right things and you invest in the right projects that you could probably 100x your crypto portfolio starting in next April or May. So imagine if we can get a head start on that. If we can take advantage of some of the trends and some of the things that are happening in the crypto world right now and use that to our benefit. What if we screw up and we only 10x our portfolio between now and the next bull market? That would still give us an exciting leg up on the next bull market. So, thank you all for joining. Do me a favor, hit that like button, get the algorithm rolling for me. Feel free to hop in the chat and say hello. It's been a little while since I have been on, so I definitely look forward to saying hi to all of my friends and family and community that are popping on this channel. I don't want to take too long. I want to get right into it. But I do want to mention for those of you that are maybe kind of taking a look at the markets and trying to figure out, hey, what is going on here? Bitcoin was just, $25,000 not that long ago, maybe a month or so ago, 45 days ago, and now it's sitting at $37,000. We're going to talk a little bit about what that means and how that can potentially be a catalyst for some of these tokens that I am talking about. So also, let me clarify this real quick. I am not a financial advisor, folks. None of this is financial advice. I am just a guy that has put, the last 6 years of my life has been totally immersed in cryptocurrency. I created financial freedom for myself with crypto. I've taken a beating the last couple of years, but coming back strong. So none of this is financial advice. Always do your own due diligence. Never take my word or any YouTuber's word for that matter, for anything when it comes to investing. Let me pull up one of my favorite pages here real quick. Let's kind of just get right into what I want to talk about. One of the one of my favorite websites is called CoinGecko. So I know that I've had a few people reach out to me recently asking me, hey, how can I get started on my cryptocurrency journey? I think a couple of you might be on here. So for those of you that are new to the channel, welcome. Do me a favor and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and get prepared for some incredible content over the next handful of months that's really going to help you increase your net worth and hopefully get your freedom. This channel is all about creating freedom in people's lives, giving you more choices to be able to do what you want to do with who you want to do it with. And this website right here, CoinGecko.com, is going to be a great resource for those of you that have been messaging me recently that are new to the crypto space. So you guys can see here that it talks about cryptocurrency prices by market cap. Bitcoin is the number one market cap. Hey, audience brood, hello, hello. Thank you for being here. So Bitcoin is the number one market cap. What does that mean? It just simply means if you take the number of Bitcoin that there are, which is roughly 21 million, and you multiply that times this price here of a little over 37,000, that gives you this number here, which ends up being its total market cap of 728,690,713. Same thing with Ethereum. If you take Ethereum's total supply multiplied by this $2,000, it's 241 million. And that's why a token, say, for instance, if we scroll down here just a little bit, Bitcoin only has 21 million tokens, but is worth 728 million. But if you take a token, say, like, we'll go down here, say, like, Chainlink has a much smaller supply of tokens. So if we go down here, or a much bigger supply of tokens. So Chainlink, has 1 billion total tokens, yet it's a, 14 dollar going on $15 token. And so its total market cap, then, well, I'm trying to figure out, its total market cap here is 8 million. So something's not adding up with those numbers right there. It's showing that all million of them are in circulation. But the main thing that I wanted to just go ahead and show for most folks is, a lot of times they think, okay, well, if we get into a token like, let's scroll down here a little bit and find one that has a really low price. So like Caspa here, this Caspa, it's 14 cents. So it has the ability to, run up and potentially make me a whole lot more money than a token like Bitcoin, because this is only 14 cents. What if it goes from 14 cents to $37,000 like Bitcoin did? But folks, the things that you got to take a look at here, one of the things that we're going to look at, so if you go to Caspa, you can see here the circulating supply is much, much bigger. It's got 21 billion tokens compared to Bitcoin only having 21 million tokens. So in order for this token to become worth $37,000 is basically impossible. It's never going to be a $37,000 token. Now, don't get me wrong, this can be an amazing token, and it's actually one of the tokens that I was going to talk about a little bit tonight. So let me go back here to my main camera. Hey, my beautiful wife. Thank you, Deanna, for being here. I appreciate you very much. And let me kick off of this slide real quick and just get right back to you guys face to face. So what I wanted to share with you, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, we're not going to 100x our portfolio by just picking out one coin and hoping that it 100x's, especially in a shorter period of time. The way that you can create some incredible wealth, especially in cryptocurrency, without necessarily using a huge amount of your funds, is to find some what we call, hidden gems, some tokens that are not mainstream yet. And by investing a small amount of money, folks, do you realize that if you put $1,000 into a token that 10x's, and then you put that into another token that 10x's, you've just created $100,000 for yourself? For those of you that are new to cryptocurrency investing and that mainly are used to investing in stocks and, mutual funds and, those types of things, making 10x on your money sounds crazy, because I know none of you have a 401k that has gone from $100,000 to $1 million in a year or in a month or in a week. Most of you won't have $100,000 in the stock market turn into $100,000, or $100,000 turn into $1 million, or $1,000 turn into $100,000. That's not going to happen for you in the stock market, even if you leave it in there for 10 or 15 years most of the time. So when you're new to crypto and you're hearing me talk about 10x or 100x, that probably sounds crazy. And so just to give you guys a little bit of a framework. So when we're talking stocks and somebody says, yeah, I bought a stock and it went up 100%. What that basically means is it doubled. So if you bought a $1 stock and it went to $2, you made 100% on your money. If you bought a dollar stock and it went to $10, you would have made 1,000% on your money. When I say X, I'm talking about multiples. So I'm saying if you 10x a $1 crypto, that means you're turning a $1 crypto into $10. If I'm saying that you 100x'd it, that means for every dollar you invested in a crypto, it turned into $100. So most people in the stock market are excited they'd be excited about 100% return on their money, even if it took them 3 or 4 or 5 years. Like most people in the stock market, if you can make 20% a year on your money, especially compounded, that's an amazing return. And don't get me wrong, I'd be excited about that before I learned about crypto. I would have been excited about that too. But folks, there's so many opportunities to do so much better. And let me get back over here to the CoinGecko website, and I want to share, this screen again. And like, let's take a look at this token right here. So this Caspa is sitting at 14 cents. And as we can see here, if we scroll down, right here in the last year, it's 1972%. So what that roughly means is that it's 19x'd. You can see in the last 30 days, it's 193%, which is basically close to 2x. So let's just go ahead and click here on the 1 year chart. And you can see here, folks, that you could have bought this back. We'll go back to just try to get to just like right where it was a year ago. So on November 20th, it was 0.0078 hundredths of a cent. So that basically means that you could have bought, let's see, we do the math here real fast on my trusty calculator. If you had $1,000 and you had bought it $1,000 worth of this divided by 0.0078, that would have been 128,205 tokens. Now we multiply that by 14 cents, 0.14. That's $17,948 that you would have turned a $1,000 bill into. Even if we just go back here, like I say, if we go back and look at it from about 3 months ago, even if we go just to August, this is August 8th, it was at 4.6 cents. So roughly it's done a 3x since August 8th. So this is how you start multiplying your money, by throwing $100 or $500 at $1,000 at one of these kind of hidden gems, waiting for it to do something like it's done, and then pulling out a big percentage of your profit so that you can no longer lose any money on this token, and then looking for another opportunity to do it again. Now, the great thing about this, folks, is it took a year for this to 10x, or actually, 19, almost 20x, almost a 20x in the last year. As we get closer and closer to the bull market, though, this is going to happen more and more often, faster and faster. And so, to give you guys another example here, and I want to kind of show you what can happen in a bull market, is I want to go to one of my other favorite tokens. This is another token that is definitely a little bit obscure. You can see here, for those of you that are a little new to CoinGecko, it's showing 511th on the market cap list. So right here, rank 511. So this one's a little bit harder math-wise just because of all of the zeros. But what I want to show you is I want to go back here in time to the historical data, and I want to go back to, let me see here. We want to get, there we go. No, we don't want 2023. We want 20. See if this will let me, if it's actually even working. It's not. Well, that is, there we go. Let's, see if we can, we want, come on, man. It's not. Well, shoot, this isn't going to work so well if this doesn't want to pop up, because the last year is not going to do us any good. I'm trying to figure out. I wanted to pull up. Uh, it's not showing me the year here either. I wanted to go back to 2021, see if that what that is. So okay, this is a little bit too far. So this is 2020. Let's try. Okay, so I see what I'm doing here. So we want to go back. We want to go to 20. No, that this might work. Let me try this, folks. That's the trouble with these darn live streams, folks, is we sometimes this stuff just doesn't want to cooperate. So it's not doesn't look like this is it's showing. Let's try this. See, there we go. So this is showing August 10th of 2021. Okay, so let me see if we can scroll down here how far what this is going to take us to. So this is going to take us down to June 30th of 2021. Oh man, it's hard with all these zeros. This is a little bit tough, folks, but if you look right here, I want to show you something. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros, and then a 6, 5, 8, 9, 7, 8. Now, if we just go, this was back on June 30th of 2021. So 6 zeros, 0, we'll go 6 zeros, and then we'll just call it 656. So if you take $1,000 divided by 0.12345 zeros, and then we said we were just going to call it 66. That's a lot of tokens. Too many tokens to even tell you. It's like it's in the billions of tokens. And now I want you to go. I'm going to go up here a little bit, and I think the easiest thing for me to do is just retype this. So UFO, and get back here to its main page, and then we're going to go down here. You see where it's all-time high here. Period. Only had 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. Right now it's down 96% from its all-time high. But let's go ahead and multiply it by its all-time high. That was in November of 2021. So the previous screen that we were on was June of 2021. Now this is showing its all-time high in November of 2021. So we're talking about 5 months. I want you guys to watch this. So if I multiply this number here by 4 zeros, 0.000, and we'll just call it 55 instead of rounding up, was its all-time high. That is $833,000. That's crazy, huh? So just once again, so you guys can follow along here with me, I want to stop my screen share real quick and show this to you guys all again. So we're going to take my phone, we're going to put $1,000 into it. $1,000 divided by 0.12345 zeros. There's the 6 zeros, and then we said I want to say it was 66. Gives us a whole bunch of tokens. Like I can't even count that number, but it's in the billions. 1,515,151,515. The last 4 numbers there don't matter. So you have been able to buy about 1.5 billion tokens for your $1,000. Now, when you multiply that billion times 4 zeros, 0.0000, so you can all see there's the 4 zeros, and then we said 55. So we're multiplying it by 4 zeros and then 55 and hitting equal. That's better. $83,000. $83,000 that you would have made on one token in 6 months. That's why I get so excited about sharing crypto with people and talking about the freedom that it can create in your life. Now that was one token that would have 80 something extra money, 83 extra money in 6 months. That happens over and over and over and over. I had a token that I purchased way back in about 2018 at 0.002 cents called DAG. Consolation was the ticker. I put about $1,000 into it. During the last bull run, it went up to, I want to say, in the ballpark of 30 or 40 cents. It was somewhere, it turned my 1,000 into 136 grand. So folks, I'm not like any type of a, special guy. I don't have an exceptional IQ. I guarantee any of you that are watching this video, probably a lot of you are smarter than I am. The one thing that I did was I finally figured out that crypto was the wave of the future. And if you haven't figured it out yet, crypto is definitely the wave of the future. More and more people are getting into it. We've got BlackRock, getting a spot ETF, which basically means that people are going to be able to buy like a stock that is parallel with the Bitcoin price. So they did it with gold and silver back around a decade or two ago. They created a gold and silver spot ETF so that you didn't have to buy physical gold and silver if you didn't want to. And now they're starting to doing it with the other big cryptos. Thanks, babe. So, folks, once again, if you don't have a pen and paper handy, grab one and just write down a couple of things. Remember this formula. If you pick out two tokens that 10x, you just turned 1,000 into $100,000. And even if you screw it up and you only pick out a token that 4x's, and then that 4x's again, you still turned $1,000 into $16,000. And my point is, folks, for those of you that have $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 that you can invest in cryptocurrency, you have the ability to turn that into a decent little chunk of money over the next 6, 7, 8, 9 months before the real huge crypto bull market commences. So the big catalyst for crypto is going to be Bitcoin halving, and that is supposed to happen in roughly April of 2024. Bitcoin is going to halve, which basically means that it becomes about 50% harder to get or more rare. So if you could imagine that if all of a sudden 50% of the gold on the planet just disappeared, it's not exactly like that, but it becomes much harder to mine it. So let's say that they're mining, say, 100 million pounds of gold this year. When it halved, they'd only be mining 50 million pounds, and then 25 million and 12 and a half. Well, that's kind of what happened with Bitcoin when it first started out. I think they were mining in the ballpark of about 100 Bitcoin per blockchain, through the, I can't think of the terminology right off the top of my head, but now we're getting all the way down to where they're going to be mining like 6.5 Bitcoin. And it's going to take the same amount of energy, the same amount of work to mine 6.5 as it used to mine 100. And this has been the catalyst for every single bull market. In 2020, Bitcoin halved in about May of 2020. Towards the end of 20, going into 2021, Bitcoin ran all the way from a low of around 6, 7, 8,000 is where it was sitting, and it ran all the way up to $65,000. Broke through its all-time high of $20,000 that it was previously, and went all the way up to 65,000. Then we had our retraction over the last few years. Bitcoin went all the way down as low as about $17,000 in the last year or so. And now it's starting to get back up a little bit, but the Bitcoin halving happens in about April of next year, which means that probably about 6 months later, September, October, November, December, January, February of 2025, those are going to be some incredible months. So I'm glad that you're here now, because this gives you an opportunity to prepare. So I think everybody understands what we're going to do here is take a small amount of money, turn it into a big amount of money. Now, for folks that have a little bit more money, then I recommend a slightly different strategy. And I'm going to give that to you guys real quick here. But I know a lot of folks are dealing with smaller sums. But if you've got $25 or $50 or $100,000 or more lying around, then I would like you to take a slightly more conservative approach and definitely get some Bitcoin and Ethereum and some of the top 10 or 15 tokens like XRP, Chainlink, ADA, Solana, and build yourself a nice foundation. And even for those of you that don't have a ton of money, I do recommend getting a little bit of those. But if you really want 100x your portfolio, you're not going to do that with Bitcoin. Right now, Bitcoin's sitting at about 35,000. I would guesstimate that it's going to end up at about 150, maybe as high as 200,000. If it really has like some crazy, crazy run, maybe it could hit 300,000, but I don't believe that's going to happen in the next bull run. But I hope I'm wrong. But even if it went all the way to 350,000, that would be about a 10x on your money. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you've got $1 million to play with, you're already doing super well. You got $1 million and you just want to be safe. Bitcoin is one of the safest things that you could probably put your money into. I mean, real estate's pretty incredible too, but Bitcoin is going to do way, way, way better than any stock, mutual fund, 401k, anything like that you can put it into. And I mean, if turning $1 million into 5 or 10 million, that's nothing to sneeze at. That's a pretty amazing result. If you're sitting at 50, 55, 60 years old and you got $1 million and you want to create a 5 or 10 million dollar, nest egg for your retirement, that is not a bad way to go. You don't have to necessarily put it into some of these riskier tokens. What do I think? We go to all-time high with UFO gaming? That's a great question. So many of these gaming projects and these metaverses and these different tokens aren't going to survive the bear market. They might never come back, but UFO gaming is one that I believe has been putting in the work and is doing some great things. I definitely own some, and it's another one that I want to DCA into and get a hold of more. This is a token that actually did very well for me. See, I didn't get it all the way down at its low and make 83x on it, but I did buy about $1,000 worth of it, a little bit closer to its peak, and I still 10x'd my money. I turned 1,000 into about 10,000. I cashed out probably $5,000 or $6,000, so I had a nice profit. And then I've kind of been holding the tokens ever since, even though they're down 96%. The reason it's hard for me to let me go back to it real quick, and we'll take a quick look at it again on the CoinGecko. It's always harder to guesstimate with these tokens that have all of these, all these zeros in them. So if it's all-time high had 4 zeros, right now it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. So it's got to go up roughly, right now it's basically 96% lower than its all-time high. So it's going to do, huge, huge things to get back to its all-time high. Let me see what we got here. If we were to do a double its all-time high. So if you take 0.00055 times 2, that would take it to 3011, so 0001. If you buy it right now, let's just see what happens for you. So it's 5 zeros, 172. So we take $1,000 divided by 0.12345 zeros and then a 172. That gives you 581 million tokens, a little over 581,395,000. So, but we'll just call it 581 million tokens. And then it's gonna, if it just doubles its previous all-time high, it would go to 00011, we said. That would take $1,000 bill and turn it into 64,000. So if it just doubles its previous all-time high, you're looking at about a 64. Oops, click on that. Uh, so do I think we get back to all-time high? I do. I do think that we're going to get back to all-time high. During the last bull market, it was a roughly in the low 100, high 100s in the market cap. in the market cap ranking. So it still had a long ways to go to get into, like, even into the top 100. So I do think that it breaks its all-time high. It's a matter of whether does it double or triple or quadruple or 5x its all-time high. And so it's hard to know for sure, but these gaming tokens, so if I click back on there, you can see right here that its market cap is only $44 million. Now, some of these other gaming tokens and metaverses like Sand and Mana and those types of tokens ended up in the multiple billions of dollars in market cap. But let's just say if we go with a $1 billion market cap, if it just gets to 1 billion and you divide that by the 44 million that it is right now, that's only a 22x. So if it goes up, double its market cap, it's going to be sitting at 3 billion. And then for fun, let's just go over here to Mana. So Mana is sitting at a $789,000 market cap. And if we go here, it's down 92%. So that means that Mana at its peak was about 10 times higher than this. So that we could all agree that that's at least a $7 billion market cap. So if we take 7 billion, if I can do this right, 7 billion, 7 million, 70 million, 700, there we go. 7 billion divided by 44 million, we said it was, roughly 44 million. That's 159x, Paul. So 159x is would make it roughly, if at a 2x it was going to be 63. So that mean it would be basically another 2.5. So that means that it would go, instead of doubling in price, instead of doubling its all-time high, it would roughly triple to quadruple its all-time high in the next bull market if it really went crazy and did something like Mana did. And so the other token that I want to talk about before we hop off of here, folks, is a token called BeamSwap. This token is one of the tokens that I have been talking about throughout the whole bull market. This one is really, in my opinion, a crazy hidden gem. It's all the way down, ranked 2,441th on the market cap list. It's all the way down at just barely a hundredth of a cent there. Right now, $1,000 would get you 853,000 of these tokens. At its all-time high, it was at this is not correct. This didn't start because this isn't showing until February of 2022. It actually launched and hit its all-time high in November of 2021, and that was up above 11 cents. So to get back to its all-time high, it has to pretty close to 100x. If you take 0.00117, so 0.00117 times 100, you're at 11.7 cents. So this one has to 100x just to get back to its all-time high. So this is another token that I believe is going to multiple 100x during the next bull run if things go well for it. So, the other thing, folks, it's all about risk versus reward. So what happens here if you throw $1,000 at a token like BeamSwap? You throw $1,000 at it and it goes to zero. That would suck, but it's not going to bankrupt you. Most people, if they lost $1,000, it's going to hurt, but it's no different than if the transmission goes out on your car and you got to throw an extra 1,000 at it, or all of a sudden you need a new set of tires on your car and you got to buy a new set of tires for $1,000. Lots of things come up in life that cost you $1,000 unexpectedly. So if you throw $1,000 at a token like BeamSwap and it goes to zero, you're out $1,000. But what if it does go back up to its all-time high. You've got 100 grand. And what if it goes to 3 or 4 or 5 times its previous all-time high? BeamSwap is a token that I legitimately think could turn $1,000 into $1,000,000. I hope I'm right about that, because I do have a little bit of BeamSwap and I'm planning on getting more. So folks, I can't go into all of the strategies on how to turn your portfolio into $100,000 portfolio today, but I am going to come back next Sunday about this time, and we're going to do another video, and I'm going to teach you how to deep dive into CoinGecko and how to get into a couple other websites. And I'm also going to show you how you can get into Twitter and also follow some other YouTubers to kind of catch the wave. So I guess I will share my screen again real quick here, because this token, Kaspa, that I had pulled up the first time, if you get on YouTube and Twitter and you start Googling Kaspa, you're going to see some very high profile crypto YouTubers that were talking about this a month ago. And as you can see here, I'll go back down. As you can see right here, last 14 days, it's gone up 122%. That basically means you would have turned $1,000 into about 2,200. In the last 30 days, you would have turned $1,000 into basically 3 grand. And so one of the ways that you find these tokens where you can 10x your money, or even, I just said, if you 10x it twice, you're at 100 grand. What if you just take 1,000 and you turn it into 3,000, and then you take your 3,000 and you turn it into 9,000, and then you turn your 9,000 and you turn it into 27,000 by doing 3X's? That probably wouldn't hurt your feelings either, right? And guess what? What if just one of those 10X's? So let's just say that you get lucky on the first one. You 10X the first token from 1,000 to 10. Then you only 3X the next token that you put it into. You turn your 10 into 30, and then you 3X the last one. You turn in 30 into 90. So, okay, you didn't quite 100X it. But let's do it the other way. Let's say that you just take the first one and you take it from a $1,000 token to a $3,000 token. Now you hit your 10X on the second one, and you turn your 3,000 into 30,000, and then you go back to a 3X, you're still at 90,000. So there's multiple ways to get to 100. I'm not saying that you're going to get from 1,000 to 10,000 to 100,000 exactly. In fact, if you're anything like me, you may not let it get all the way to a 10X. If I put 1,000 into a coin and it's sitting at 7 or 8X, I'm probably not going to risk it coming all the way back, to 1 or 2 or 3X, just hoping that I get another couple of X's out of it, So that's called, risk management, folks. Unless it really got to 10X fast, there's a reasonable potential that I'm pulling it out at 5 or 6 or 7X, because it just takes one more token instead of 2 tokens, 3. The cool thing, folks, is if you've got a little bit of time, if you can take your 1,000 and over the next 6, 7, 8 months, by being on this YouTube channel every Sunday night, that's part of my goal. Next Sunday, we're going to dive deeper into how you can find some tokens that you believe are going to 10X. I'm also going to have a token or two that I've done some due diligence on that I'm going to give you next week. Once again, it won't be financial advice, but these are going to be tokens that I am looking to 10X my portfolio with, and then 10X again to get to 100 grand. But let's just say that you only take your 1,000 or your 5,000, and all we do is get it to 10,000 or 50,000 by April of next year, and then you can 100X it during the bull market. I mean, it's still just unbelievable where you can be by the beginning of 2025. I really 100% believe in my heart that anybody that wants to be a millionaire or more in their life in crypto can do it, starting with $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, can do it in the next year and a half. If they're smart with their money, they're not emotional, they just play the odds, they listen to the right people, get into the right projects, it's unbelievable what you can do. I took a pretty small amount of money back in 2018 and turned it into over $1 million, probably closing into a couple $1 million at its peak by the beginning, by May of 2021. So 18, 19, 20, and then a few months of 2021. So in less than 4 years, I was able to go from basically nothing. Like literally, my wife is on here. She can tell you that back in the late 2017, I didn't have two nickels that I could rub together. I was living paycheck to paycheck. I was broke all the time. I was worried about the bills. We had been together at that point from about 2013. So we'd been together for almost 5 years. We hadn't taken any exciting vacations. We had literally, gone to a place called Sun Lakes, Eastern Washington for like family reunions where we had to drive. One year we stayed in a tent when we were there, and the next year we stayed in a cabin. We upgraded a little bit to a cabin. But once crypto took off, in the last few years, we went to Disney World. We've been to the Bahamas twice. We've been to Florida another time for a Bitcoin conference. We went to Myrtle Beach, California. I can't even remember all of the trips that we've taken, all of the fun stuff that we've done. We enjoy fine dining. So instead of going to Outback and spending, $100 on two of us to have a couple of okay steaks, we've gone to some of the best steakhouses in Las Vegas and spent, probably more than I care to remember in some situations, especially with the last 2 years that we've gone through. But, we spent, $300, $400, $500 on nice fine dining meals dozens of times and just loved our freedom. We both left our jobs in 19 and 20 and had our freedom. It's come at a little bit of a cost once again during this bear market. It's been rough. There's some times where I wish I would have had an outside source instead of crypto. But folks, I promise you that over the next year and a half, if you stick with me and you stay true to the game plan, you can turn a pretty small amount of money into life-changing money real quick here. That's right. The cruises. Yeah, we've been on several cruises in the last couple of years, and just all sorts of stuff. So with that, folks, I know we're running a little shorter than normal. Normally, you get me talking, and we're at about usually an hour plus, but we've been here for about 45 minutes. I'm gonna let you go enjoy the rest of your Sunday night. I appreciate you all being here, and put it on your calendars. We're going to come back next Sunday, and I'm going to have a token or two for you. So between now and next Sunday, get $100, $500, $1,000 together, and let's get ready to try to find our first 10x next Sunday. With that, God bless you all. Have a great week, and we will see you next time.